Alright everybody, here we go. We're going to do a video tonight about my skunk loaches. And I'm letting everybody get all excited for a minute. They see me standing here. Half my fish run and hide when they see me pick up the camera. These all run up to the glass and wait because they know food's coming. So I'm going to drop some sinking shrimp pellets in there. And I was hoping this would happen. I wanted to show you how the skunk loaches as well as my clowns will just come right up, to the top of the water, just like my gouramis do. Angelfish and all sorts of other fish. So they're really fun fish to have. So let's take this in for a moment. I really apologize for my voice as of lately. I've been dealing with a bit of a scratchy throat. There you'll notice on the bottom is my striped Raphael. He always comes out whenever he smells good food in the tank. So we'll get some close-up looks at the loaches in a minute. I was just doing some reading, kind of catching up on my P's and Q's before I went ahead and started talking about them. For those of you who are familiar with my videos, I don't really do the species profile type videos. That's just not really my thing. There's lots of good videos out there that do species profiles, care videos, husbandry, that sort of thing, and it's just not my thing. You can find that information in lots of different places. What I tend to share is sort of my experience with them, my opinion about them, my thoughts on them, that sort of thing. So while I was looking, I did make a few notes, and some of the notes I made were that you get a lot of varied information from equally reputable sites. So I read everything from pH ranges as narrow as 6 to 6.5, and then a reputable site like FishBase says anywhere from 6 to 7.5. So who knows about the pH? All I can say specifically is my pH is 7.3 in this tank. I'm not going to go into water hardness that they can deal with because I have very odd water. I actually have 0 hardness, but I have quite a bit of dissolved solids in my water, and various things happen because of that, and it allows me to have different fish than you might think that I could have in such soft water. So I'm not going to get into that, but they can deal with fairly soft water all the way up to moderately hard water. Temperature range is what you'd expect for a tropical fish, 72 to 83. I read in a couple different places that they are not friendly with each other. They're territorial, and if you have more than one in a tank, it needs to be a really big tank, like a 55, and then it needs to be a large group of them. Or if you've got them in a smaller tank, you should keep them singly. Now, I've got 7 of them in here all told, or at least there was. It's hard to, see all 7 of them at any one time, so I may have lost 1 or 2 over the months. It's hard to say. But I've never seen any aggression whatsoever. In my experience, loaches are always gregarious. They always enjoy company, with the one exception being my Red Tail Loach that is in this tank, and we will see him on rare occasion. He's not friendly. Does not get along with anybody, and he usually hides over in the back, over here behind some of the rocks. Occasionally you'll see him pop out. The skunk loaches, however, I'm going to pull a chair up here. The skunk loaches are one of the most fun and friendly loaches I've ever experienced. I really, really like them a lot. You can see I've got the Angelicus in there. And this is pretty much my Angelicus's perch. He just always sits up there. I think he knows how gorgeous he is, and that's why he just sits up under there looking beautiful all the time. My clowns are clowns. Everybody's got clowns. Everybody knows how much fun they are and how pretty they are. I always recommend them, with the exception that they get fairly large. They get about 1 foot. The skunks, however, I think while they're popular, I still think they're not popular enough. I think they're sort of an unsung fish. They only get about 4 inches, and that's a really big one. They usually don't even make 4 inches. What you're looking at is pretty much full grown. When they're young, they do have like black striping down their side. It almost looks like a black tiger striping, but that goes away as they mature, and what you're looking at here is what the mature animals look like. I've been noticing lately, I think they're coming into full maturity because they're really starting to color up. I've always talked about how they were sort of a drab fish and you kind of had to appreciate the subtleties of their beauty. But I have to say, one of them in particular is just absolutely beautiful right now. The tail is getting a really, really pretty yellow color to it. And the anal and ventral fins are both getting these beautiful reddish coloration. So there is quite a bit of color in some of these. Again, it's not as flashy by any means as the clown you see there. I mean, that's kind of a given. But it's still a lot more color in them than I would normally have thought, and than I would have actually told people if you'd asked me, a month ago. I would have said, yeah, well, they're just kind of tan loaches with a black line on them. There's no real color there. But they actually do have quite a bit of color now that I'm getting to look at them a little more closely. You can see the yellow in this one's tail. And I swear they're just not cooperating. I was really hoping with all that stuff in there we'd hear them clicking. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them together right there, so I know at least 5 of them are still in here. Then I've got the 2 clowns, I've got that Angelicus, and then I've got that, I can hear some clicking. If you hear that little clicking and clacking sound, that is actually the loaches. They have a specialized set of teeth, and when they're excited, they clack them together. That could be used for communication. It could be just the sound that they make when they're chewing on stuff. But it's a really peculiar sound. So if you've got loaches and you've wondered what that noise is you keep hearing, that's what it is. It's your actual animals themselves. They make that noise with a specialized set of, I think they're pharyngeal teeth, teeth located in their throat. At least that's what I would imagine pharyngeal teeth are, based on that name. And they usually do it when I put good food in the tank, stuff they like. The sinking shrimp pellets, they go crazy when I throw in the high-carry algae wafers. They really, really love the algae wafers. I know this is a video about these loaches, but whenever that striped Raphael comes out, I always like to get him on video too, because he's really cool, and it's not like the loaches aren't in the video, so you can be looking at either or. So that's really about all. I mean, I just wanted to give you a little bit of my experience with them. Again, they're just super friendly animals. I really like them a lot. They're a lot of fun to watch. And in addition to being fun to watch, they also can be very useful. They're really, really highly specialized snail eaters. They have these little hooks on their face that they can flick out, and that is actually used to get the meat out of snail shells and mussel shells. They can also use those little hooks as weapons, so be mindful of that. If you do have any loaches, you don't ever want to try to pick one up in your bare hands, especially if it's a larger one. They can open you up with that little hook on their face. If you ever get loaches at a fish store, you want to make sure that when they put them in the bag, they do the thing where they turn the bag upside down. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but loaches are, first of all, the kind of fish that will burrow its nose down into the corner of your aquarium bag that you're bringing home from your store. This can be bad because it prevents them from opening their mouth, and it prevents their gill flaps from opening, so this obviously could cause them to suffocate. So any fish that really, even otocinclus, cory cats, you always want to turn those bags upside down and then put that bag in another bag, so that it doesn't leak or whatever. But you want the knot on the bottom excuse me, you want the knot on the bottom so that you get a rounded bottom on the bag rather than those pointy corners. And in the cases of loaches, you definitely want to do that, because those little hooks on their face mean that when they get down in the corners, by the time you get home, you're going to have a very, very leaky bag. They will poke holes in the bag all over the place, and you will be, dripping your aquarium water out of the bag by the time you get home. So if you got a long drive, you might actually lose a significant amount of water. So that is one little oddity that I thought was worth mentioning, is those little hooks on their face. They can actually injure you. They can injure other fish, but they primarily are for feeding. They use that to get the meat out of snail shells, and again, they're very, very efficient at that. If you've got a problem with snails, get a loach, any kind of loach, and you won't have snails in your tank anymore. So there's my little video. It was just sort of a look at them around the tank, give you an idea of what they're like and how much fun they are. Again, I always recommend them. They're small, they're fairly hardy. They do need fairly clean water. You know, you can't have a lot of organics in your tank, and I always recommend you put them in a very mature tank. You don't want to put these in a tank that's just been freshly cycled, and you really don't want to keep these fish in a tank that's not fully cycled. They're very sensitive to organics and inorganics. Ammonia and nitrite, you know, will affect these fish much more quickly than it will affect other more hardy fish like my gouramis. So never put loaches in unestablished or newly established tanks. Always put them in well-established systems. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, I would ask you to please subscribe if you're not already. Please like my videos. Please share them with all your friends. Welcome all your comments. I try my best to get back to everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.